I'm really happy and excited that I can talk to Doug about curiosity.
I'm curious.
And why don't we start with a couple of words about yourself?
Okay. Well, my name is Doug Reid. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and I've been working in the field of creativity and innovation for about the last 30 years. And I call myself a thinking partner.
Okay.
And I help individuals think and teams to think differently and organizations to think differently. Do a fair amount of training and facilitating and coaching people in this area.
Okay. So a question that I have is then, let's start this with, where are you curious in your life?
Okay, good. So, related to my field, of course, so much of the world of creativity and innovation is about really fostering an atmosphere for people to be curious and to look for possibilities. And so, and I love my work, and I've done it for a long time, and I keep getting more excited about it because I just keep seeing more possibilities. And so I'm just always curious to see where it's going to go next. And I'm also very curious about people, and I love to work with people and to again foster that atmosphere where they can have their ahas in life and come to their new ways of doing things.
So is it only in your work, or is it also in other areas?
Yeah, well, I have a family, and of course they're very dear to me. That's right up there at the top of things. When it comes to me very personally, something that I do as an avocation is I paint.
Wow!
Yeah, I'm a painter. I'm an abstract painter. I'm a spontaneous expressionist. And so,
what are you using? What kind of canvas?
Yeah, I use a canvas, and I use usually acrylic paints.
Okay.
Sometimes oils, but mostly acrylics.
Okay.
And when I go up to my canvas, I have no idea what I'm going to paint.
Oh, cool.
And I just wait for something to come to me. So I'm not painting from my head so much. I'm more painting from my gut, and it just happens.
And then if you look at, when does curiosity happen then? When you look at the canvas, or before that, or where is that coming out?
Yeah, well, it really happens throughout the process for me. But I'm always curious to see what's going to emerge, because when I first begin with the canvas, I just sit there and I just wait. And it's very hard because it requires me to get out of my head. And that's not easy to do because it's always spinning. And so sometimes I'll just meditate sort of and just get centered and quiet and wait sort of for that inspiration to come. And so I'm always curious to see what's going to come out. I don't know what color I'm going to choose. It's just all very much in the moment.
And when it's there, you pick up like your tools, and then you paint.
And then I paint. So I'll pick up my brush or my knife, and I'll pick a color, and I'll do something on the canvas, and then I do something else. And if I see that something starts to emerge, not a thing per se, but if I feel that it's something that has potential, then I'll start to refine it and play with it. And then I have to go into my head a little bit more. But the initial inspiration is really more from here.
From the gut.
Yeah.
So if you would need to summarize what curiosity is, how would you define curiosity?
Define curiosity. Well, if having a curious mind is maybe about having an open mind.
Okay.
It's about being interested. It's about being, wanting to look for something that isn't there. There's something mysterious about it. But what I find is, and this relates back to my painting too, if I'm truly being curious with an open mind, then I'm being completely non-judgmental.
Okay.
There's no judgment. Otherwise, I think maybe non-judgment and curiosity are
So
are
it
very
relates
inextricably linked.
to the creative process a little bit also, right?
Yeah,
That's why
exactly.
you have that non-judgmental aspect.
Yeah. And of course, when I paint, if I paint from my head, then the judge starts entering in.
So, coming from that non-judgmental, maybe let me trigger another direction. So, why do you think is curiosity important for you? And then we can ladder it up a little bit for us as a society, as human beings, maybe.
Yeah. Well, if curiosity and imagination are sort of linked in a way for me, and it's just part of my lifeblood. It's not only my business, but it's the way I'm wired. I mean, I feel like if I lose my curiosity, or I lose that desire to imagine something greater in the world, then I may as well just roll over and die. It's just part of. It's like blood flowing through my body in a way.
Okay. And what is it that so if it's so important, what is driving it? What are the triggers? What makes you curious? And maybe what's kind of making you uncurious?
Yeah. Well, I'll go with the first one first. I think the desire to be curious, it's either wanting to understand something better or in a new way.
Okay.
So it's about understanding. It's about creating new and better ways of doing things.
Okay.
Whether it's creating a new product or improving a relationship, it relates to everything. It comes into everything that we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what makes you uncurious?
Having a judgmental mind. If I'm judging everything, then I've lost my curiosity in a sense. So it's not being open-minded. It's not being non-judgmental. It's not being I want to say curious. It's not being interested and open to finding something new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And besides your art studio there, do you have other spaces where you are particularly curious? Where are you curious?
I think it's almost every place. I mean, I have two little grandsons, and they're 2 and 5 years old, and you talk about curious. I mean, the world is just unfolding for them, and so I try to put myself into their minds and look at the world through their eyes, and so that's probably even increased that sense of curiosity for me, because it's so it's in relationships, it's in my work, it's in I practice yoga. It's I think the yoga, what that does is it helps me to create that vessel for curiosity, in a sense, because in my yoga, when I do that, that's another time when it's so intense. I do that hot Bikram yoga, and it requires so much energy that I don't think about anything else for 90 minutes. Okay. So it's like a meditation. It's when you are so absorbed in what you're doing, you become one with it, in a sense, and that's really what I call being in the flow. When I paint, I get into that flow state, and so maybe there's some relationship between this state of flow and curiosity.
Okay, flow and curiosity. So if you would have one sentence, what is curiosity? What would that be?
Exploring the world around you with an open and non-judgmental mind. And mindset.
Mindset.
It's through your eyes, through all of your senses, through your intuition.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.